Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much for joining us again. This is James with SleepPlay.com, and we got an exciting one for you today. We're going over the AirSense 11 by ResMed, the top manufacturer out there, and we're gonna go get into this quickly, okay? So here we have the AirSense 11 carrying case that it comes in. If you open this up very briefly, there is a netted compartment where you can place your mask, your tubing as well if you like, but there is a section here as well. You can put your tubing. We're gonna go ahead and on the front here is the ResMed My Air app. Just walks you through everything, very simple. You can get into this yourself. They can walk you through it. Very easy to download this on your app store if you choose to. It is not imperative, but it is an option for you, okay? Here we have the ResMed AirSense 11, one of my favorite machines out there, and the AirSense 10 as well. Two of the top ones on my side. This is the water chamber that you're going to go ahead and take this out here. That will be provided inside your carrying case, and you take this out here. If I can get it out, excuse me, I've done this 12 million times. I can't do it this time. You're going to go ahead and take this water chamber, place it in the side here. Very simple. That's going to be how it's completed. To take this out, very simple. Just hold the top of the machine, grab the water chamber bottom and top, just squeeze a little bit and pull it out, okay? You're going to open it where the latch is on the side here, where the water droplet is. Underneath, you put your fingers. You've probably done this before with other items. You open this up, very simple. You're gonna fill this with distilled water. They recommend right below the max line. If you fill it up above the max line, it will spit out water into the tube for a little while till it goes back down. Also with the distilled water, as I tell patients, if you don't have it, it is recommended. Like I said, there's not as many minerals. It's not gonna accumulate so much calcium on the machine, enabling you to clean it or lasting longer for you in case you forget to clean for some reason. But you know, you can use filtered bottled water. I wouldn't not use anything or wait till you have distilled to use the machine. You're waiting for your therapy and your benefit the days you don't have distilled water. I've had patients that say, I haven't used it for 2 weeks. I said, why not? They said, I don't have distilled water. I said, that's ridiculous. Use the machine, get the benefit from the therapy until you get the water that you need, okay? But anyhow, you will fill it right below the max line. You go ahead and put it back into the water chamber, just like so, okay? On the opposite side of the machine, we have two items. This here is basically a little slot where the SD card would have went or does go if you choose. It is a backup memory. I tell patients that most machines come with this little chip here or little insert that blocks the hole so it doesn't get dirty. Reason being for the SD card not coming in all these machines, basically there's a cellular modem in the machine that will track everything for you. It's attached to My Air. It can go on AirView, which a lot of the clinicians or suppliers will have access to that to locate your compliance if need be for the insurance or for your doctor or whatnot. DOT, yes, excuse me, for the drivers, I get it a lot. Need that compliance, so we can go ahead and send it to you through AirView, because it does have a cellular modem in the machine automatically, so you don't really need the SD card. It's more of a backup memory. This here on this side of the machine as well is where the in the back of the machine, I apologize, is where the filter is located. This is a filter door here. You just put your finger in here where the holes are, and you open this up. That is where the filter is located. You just pinch and pull it out. This is a disposable filter. It will last anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. Honestly, in a typical household, it might be about 4 weeks, 6 weeks. It's not gonna get that dirty. It does not matter what side you put this on, but once you do, it's disposable. You're just gonna go ahead and toss this out, replace it. When you do so, as I said, it doesn't matter what side you put this on. You just lay it back down in the tray here, close it up till it snaps, and you're good to go. It's not going to come out of there, okay? This here is where the tubing goes. Now, these machines come with standard tubing unless specified. You can get the heated tube. We'll go ahead and talk about that in another video, but basically this is the standard tubing. Let me take this out for you. All right, I'm going to take this out. Let me set this aside. It's a standard 6-foot tubing, as I explained last time, on the Air Mini. It's long enough, I promise you, and depending on what type of mask you use, you may have an extra foot of tubing as well on the mask. But both sides are the same. They're both rubber ends. You're going to go ahead and take this rubber end, and where this male outlet is protruding out of the machine, you're just going to go ahead and wiggle this on, just like that, and it stays on, okay? And quite the opposite, when you take this off, you just bend and wiggle and pull it off, okay? You can clean this and your water chamber briefly. Warm soapy water, you can get a sanitizing unit, whichever one you choose. They are great units. They sanitize the units with UV lights, and some use the ozone, whichever you choose. Those are great on a daily basis, but really, realistically, you would clean this anyways once a week. Warm soapy water in a sink. You just fill the sink up, warm soapy water, mild detergent preferably, and you would immerse this down. You just fold it back up. You would take the water chamber, you'd open it up, put down the water, you know, shake it around a little bit, let it clean up, and let them soak as long as you feel necessary. There's no time frame. When they're done, take one end up against the faucet, let the water run through it, throw over a shower curtain rod, a railing to let it drip dry. You can even go outside, and this is kind of funny to some patients, but I've done it before, and kind of lasso that thing to get all the water out as much as you can. You're not going to get everything out, but you know, as much as you can would be great. With the water chamber, you basically open it up and you let it sit on a towel on the counter to drip dry as well, okay? That's once a week, very simple for yourself until you get a sanitizing unit or something like that. But even with those, they do recommend you clean them, okay? But this will stay onto here. On the opposite, on that side of the machine as well is where your power cord is going to go. Okay, the power cord is going to be in the front of your bag. A lot of people don't recognize this. In the front of the bag is where the power cord is going to go, right here, okay? This is where the power cord goes. It comes two parts like a laptop. So there's the power cord that goes into the outlet. That's going to be tie wrapped, and there's also the block, the transformer, some say, inside the bag here. Okay, let's set this aside. All right, so this side here is like a USB, okay? It's a little different than the AirSense 10, but basically what you're gonna do is, on the back of the machine is a slot here that matches the USB plug, and you're gonna plug this in just like so. It doesn't go in on both ways, you know, so if you try to plug it in, sometimes it's not gonna fit. You gotta turn it to the other end to match the hole, and it'll go ahead and fit like so, okay? This is also tie wrapped. I'm going to see if I can leave this tie wrapped really quickly on top of the table to demonstrate. This power cord, just like all ResMeds, they do go from 110 to 240, as I stated before, so you can use this in any country worldwide. Of course, some countries you do need an international adapter, but that's as far as any electronic device you're going to use anyways, so just be prepared for that if you do need it. You know, European countries, some of them do require a wall adapter for the outlets, okay? But this just gets plugged in just like a regular outlet. You're just gonna plug in the back here and you're good to go, okay? This also has a light on here. Let me pull this out, see if I can pull it out as much as I can. It has a light on this power source, okay? I get patients asking me all the time, oh, my machine's not working, it's not on. And I tell them first thing I do to troubleshoot is go and check the power light, make sure this green light is on. A lot of times the outlet is actually not working, or they need to plug it into a different outlet, or it's connected to a switch actually. They didn't really know that. They put the switch on and the light comes on and it's working fine, okay? It's not the machine, I guarantee you. Very rarely would a machine not turn on. There's some sort of reason for it, I promise you, okay? These machines are very well built. They're great machines. Like I said, I love ResMed. They're one of my favorite manufacturers. In the front here, if you just, when you first put this on, you're just gonna hit user, okay? And then you'll answer a couple questions. You know, is this first time starting? You just hit continue. How much sleep apnea do you have? How bad is it? Extreme, slightly, and you're just gonna hit continue again. Continue, continue. Okay, okay, okay. No thanks for setup. All right, this is your main screen. Okay, you have my options and sleep view. My sleep view, I can do this in my sleep. I've done it so many times. The main thing on here, these are really not necessary. I will let you know right now. Your main goal are two things that I stated before, and I stress this to everybody. Comfort first and foremost with the mask. Find the mask you need or get used to the one that you have. And second of all, and most important, are your events an hour. Those are that's your sleep apnea basically. That's what determines your severity of sleep apnea. That's going to determine when you don't have sleep apnea, okay? And so in my sleep view, it's the most important, I would say, on this whole machine, but I am going to explain everything to you very briefly, okay? So in here, down here on more, if you select this here, it'll pull up a few things. Now you can warm this up, you could pre-warm it up before you use the machine. Honestly, if you are in Florida, one of the states that have, a lot of humidity or it's very hot, you don't need that warm up, so it's really irrelevant. Plus, this thing gets super hot super quick, so you don't really need it at all, honestly. Down below is the mask fit. Now the mask fit, if you're using like a pillow mask or a nasal mask, realistically it's not useful or needed at all. With the full face mask, you may need it, just to see the right fit for yourself. You don't want to super tighten this thing. A lot of people in a lot of sleep labs will put it on super tight to eliminate any leakage, to get the right pressures that you need. It's not imperative. You're going to get some leakage. Every mask has exhalation ports that basically, what they do is they allow the carbon dioxide to go into the air so you don't suffocate, because obviously that's going to fix your sleep apnea for good. But basically, it's going to leak. The masks are going to leak. It's prone to do that. When you move, it's going to leak here and there. So do not make the goal the mask seal or the leakage, okay? You're going to drive yourself insane and go through 10,000 masks to get the right mask, and it's still going to leak. So that's not the goal, okay? But this will just tell you most likely on a full face mask what the best fit is. It'll just go up increasing pressure until you reach a pressure that starts to leak, and it'll let you know what kind of pressure it's going to leak at and how you can adjust it and whatnot, okay? And we'll get back into that in a little bit, or a further video, another video. But yeah, that's the mask fit. Then you got My Air app. Now the My Air app, if you hit this here, it'll show you this on the screen. No thanks. Obviously you can go back, or okay download. You would basically hit okay download. It'll connect to your phone. You put your Bluetooth on, hit connect, it'll come up with a number, and you basically enter that into your phone, and then it will connect the phone with the actual app on the screen, which is pretty cool. It'll send you like little reminders and encouragement to continue to use the machine and how you're doing with that, okay? To go back, you just go ahead and hit cancel. Obviously you hit back, no thanks, and here you go, you're back at the home screen, okay? In this option here, My Sleep View, this is what it's going to look like when it comes from us at sleepplay.com. We like to put it on advanced mode for you. The reason being is because it gives you a little more details on how you're sleeping. If you don't want to go on the app and do all of that downloading stuff, a lot of people don't know how at all, including myself at sometimes. This is very useful. It has all your information. The primary thing it has that I explain to every single person that I set up over the years is your events per hour. But I'll explain everything briefly to you right now like I do in any setup. So the first thing it shows you, usage. Usage is the last session of usage. It's not the total time, nor will it show you the total time for the day, day after day. That's more for the app or for the website, okay? So it's really irrelevant, okay? I'm breaking this down easily so you can make this simple for yourself. That's what you need to do. Simplicity is key. Skip the middle one, go down to mask. Mask is basically that mask seal, okay? The leakage. Like I said, every mask will leak somewhat. If it is leaking over the liters per minute that the makers allow, what it'll show you on this machine is a little yellow triangle with the exclamation mark in the middle, okay? That just means it's leaking a little more than you're allowed to, or they'd like you to, okay? With the nasal mask, especially a pillow, the only leakage you're gonna get is from your mouth, okay? There's no seal around your nose or around your face, so it's only gonna come out the mouth. When you open the mouth, the leakage is gonna come out, and it'll show that little yellow triangle with the exclamation mark. Don't worry about it, I'll explain why. With the full face mask, of course, it's going to be the mask that leaks the most. Why? Because you have the biggest seal. It's going to come out of everywhere as you toss and turn. If it's not bothering you, or your spouse mainly, because that's the issue, don't worry about it, okay? With the nasal, likewise, it's through the mouth. The leakage will come. But if it's too much, like I said, you'll see a little yellow triangle. Don't be alarmed by that. You're okay. Forget about it. So forget about the usage. Don't worry about the mask. The main thing you're concerned about is your comfort and the events, okay? Now, once it's plugged in an outlet and you select the vents, once it's there, you never have to select the vents again. It's always going to pop up with your vents. That's the most imperative thing that you're concerned about, okay? That is your sleep apnea. I love to tell patients that because you'll know that you're doing good. It'll make you feel comfortable and comforted, and know how you're doing basically on a day-to-day basis, okay? So as long as you're sleeping at night, I tell everybody when I set them up, and then when this pops up and that's selected like it will be from now on, as long as those events per hour, which is going to pop up where those dashes are under 5, that's all that matters. That is your sleep apnea. It lets you know that no matter what the mask is leaking, whatever it's leaking, however amount it's leaking, you're still getting the proper air in your airway to keep your events per hour and your sleep apnea eliminated, okay? Most machines, especially with this machine, how it's set commonly is on an auto set machine, okay? What I tell everybody is, being that's an auto set machine, it's going to adjust to meet your needs regardless. So if you are leaking slightly, it's going to adjust for slight leakage regardless. So it's going to provide the pressure you need to keep the airway open, okay? So that is basically my sleep view. And like I said, the main thing is that's going to pop up whenever the machine shuts off. This machine, if you are using a nasal mask, they're going to be set on a smart start automatically. So when you put the mask on, start breathing, it turns on by itself. Now, when you take the mask off with the nasal mask, you can set it to shut off by yourself. If you go to my options and scroll all the way up, down to the bottom, if you go scroll up, it goes down to the bottom, but it has smart start and smart stop. Smart start will be selected. If smart stop is not selected, you would just hit it, and there's going to be a blue little icon that pops up, means it's on. So that what that means is when you take the mask off or disconnect it in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, after 5 seconds, it will shut off by itself. Don't have to worry about waking up your wife in the middle of the night or your spouse, period. It's very convenient because if you rush to leave the house, you take the mask off and throw it on the side, you don't got to worry about that thing blowing all day long. I tell everybody. So I would just say, like, most of the time with full face masks, I don't like to set those with patients because those masks do tend to leak a little more than others, and it may get up to a pressure, and when it gets up to the higher pressure that you need and it's leaking a little more, it might shut off and start all over again at the low pressure. So I really don't recommend the smart stop to be on with a full face mask, but with nasal masks, absolutely. You put it on, it turns on by itself. You take it off, it shuts off by itself, no problem. But when it shuts off, once again, it's on right now. When it's off, that pops up. That's your My Sleep view. And like I said, when I selected it, it's in the same outlet. Events pop up. That's all you care about. As long as I can get comfortable with my mask and those events are under 5, that's all you care about, okay? That lets you know that everything's going good. You don't got to reach out to the doctor. You don't got to reach out to the clinician. You know it's working for yourself, okay? That just lets you know on a day-to-day basis. When you're going to go home, once again, you hit the little house button in the left-hand corner, top left-hand corner, and it takes you back to the home screen. By the way, as you can see, this is touchscreen. The AirSense 10 was not. It had knobs all over the place. This has nothing. Touchscreen, very simple. Tap it once, you can get through the options. In my options, once again, I know I went over to Smart Start. There's only a couple things here. Most likely, when you have your Climate Line air tubing, which is a heated tube, connected, everything will be on auto. I'll let you know that right now. I would leave it on auto. It works for 99% of the patients. It will adjust to the relative humidity in the room. You don't have to do anything. Just top off the water chamber every day with distilled water. Clean it once a week, but basically you don't have to worry about the humidity settings. It pops up automatically by itself. It adjusts by itself depending on the humidity in the room. So you don't have to worry about that. When you have standard tubing, it does give you the option of the humidity level, okay? And so what you can do is, obviously the humidity is standard on 4. So if you wake up in the morning with dry mouth, obviously the next night what you would do is you'd put it up 1 level to 5 because you're not going to jump it right to 8. People do that. I said go 1 increment at a time until you feel comfortable, and quite the opposite. If you do have too much humidity, you would lower it to 3, and so forth night by night until you get comfortable. That's a comfort setting. It's not needed. If you're not putting water in the chamber, please shut the humidity level off. You don't want that thing heating up, burning the hot plate. It's not a danger or gonna catch nothing on fire, but you just don't want it burning the bottom of the hot plate, okay? These are also changed out every 6 months, every 3 months. The tubings every 3 months. The filters, I say about once a month. They recommend twice a month. You know, like I said, the typical household is not going to get that dirty, but I would say at least once a month. You could purchase those as well. Excuse me. And basically the pressure relief, I have that on. We usually set the pressure release on or the EPRs on 3. What that is an expiratory pressure relief, okay? What it means is when you breathe out, it's not gonna be so strong when it's coming in, because remember, that's a constant pressure. CPAP is a continuous positive airway pressure machine, so it's constantly coming in. So when you breathe out, remember that pressure's still coming in. So this will drop it a couple centimeters, so it's a little easier for you to breathe out against it, okay? That's really it on this. Just to give you a brief overview, like I said, we will be doing more videos on the individual parts on the machine, but I just want to show you, basically how to use this, how you can walk yourself through in a nutshell, the cleaning, everything like that, and what all the aspects of the machine are. We hope you liked this video. If you did like it, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.